The latest Helldivers 2 trailers have just dropped, needless to say they look amazing. However, despite looking really good, other than what they said about the Galactic War, they didn't really give us much more info. Except maybe that shooting small arms at a heavily armoured tank doesn't do shit. But I feel like Tom already figured that out. And so, in order to give you guys the answers to all of your FAQs, I thought it was time for me to jump into the Helldivers Discord server, stalk the community support staff, and give you every single bit of info they've told us publicly. So here it is, here's the answers to 10 of the most common Helldivers 2 FAQs. The first question on our list is not exactly about the release date, which we know has been confirmed as February 8th, but specifically about the release time. Well, unfortunately we don't have precise info on this from the developer, however our Arrowhead community support staff Misty has spoken on this topic and stated, "My guess is somewhere in EU work hours, so that we have staff available." The time zone was confirmed by Misty as being Central European time, so if we assume that the release time is somewhere around midday on the 8th of February, then that makes it 11 AM if you're in the UK on GMT, and 6 AM if you're in the US on EST. But yeah, until we get closer to the release date, even Misty themselves doesn't know. Our next question is, will the game be playable offline, or will this be one of those games that forces you to be online to play at all? Well, bad news guys, Helldivers 2 requires an internet connection in order to play. This was expanded upon by our community support staff, who may well have the most awesome Discord tag ever, the Baskinator.
I'll be back.
Who said, no offline play, solo play is supported, but an internet connection is required. And then further added to that, the game runs on servers, solo or squad. So it seems that Helldivers 2 is departing from the peer-to-peer connection style used in Helldivers 1, which was still totally playable without an internet connection. And whilst this may have crushed this guy's dreams, it does potentially open the door to some new features that haven't yet been revealed. So here's hoping there's some cool stuff in there. Actually guys, the developer just released this information here that says that Helldivers 2 also uses peer-to-peer networking. So I don't know if that means that the game will be playable offline or not, but there are definitely some question marks here. Anyway, I just thought I'd put that information in here, back to the video. But first, a huge shout out to ExpressVPN. If you've ever wanted to play games in a different region or browse the web securely, ExpressVPN is how you do it. I can tell you from experience it 100% works, and honestly, the ping's actually decent too. And right now, every single Mogz viewer is gonna get a huge discount of 3 months off all 12-month subscriptions, meaning it just got a whole lot cheaper for you to jump into a different region and destroy your opponents over there. How good is that? So go check out ExpressVPN via the link on screen and in the video description. Okay, so now that we know that the game uses the same peer-to-peer networking style as Helldivers 1, what happens if we come across problematic players like this guy? Can we kick them, or will they be able to stick around and ruin our fun? Well, the only info we've got on this so far is this response from Baskinator stating, "We will have player reporting features." So that to me sounds like Helldivers 2 will have a reporting feature similar to the one that we have in Rocket League. We can report players, which often admittedly doesn't do much, but we can't actually kick them. I personally hope that we will have a vote kick feature that lets players band together to get rid of trolls, but no info on this so far. The next question on our list is about crossplay chat. So crossplay is a feature that is definitely confirmed, meaning that PC players and PlayStation players will be able to join the same squad and play together. However, will those players be able to communicate using voice and text chat? This Discord member here asked a similar question, and Baskinator replied, yes, we will support in-game chat across platforms. So I'm assuming this means that both voice and text chat are supported, which is great news. However, that brings us to the next question, how about keyboard and mouse support on PlayStation? Will PlayStation 5 players be able to use keyboard and mouse for sending text messages and or gameplay itself? Well, the answer to this question is yes to this part, no to this part. I personally asked Misty about this and they confirmed that keyboard is supported for text chat, but mouse isn't supported at all. To which I then probed further, okay, so the game isn't actually playable solely on keyboard and mouse on PlayStation 5, to which Misty replied, no. Our next question is about controller support on PC. So we know that the game is playable on both controller and keyboard and mouse, however, how about support for features like haptic feedback? Well, this member on Discord asked, could you let us know if the PC version of Helldivers 2 will support DualSense haptic feedback and trigger effect? To which Misty replied, I don't believe so, sorry. This was asked again by a different member and received this response. Okay, apparently not. Controller works fine, but not haptics. Could change in the future though. So not entirely bad news for PC controller players. Whilst haptic feedback won't be supported at launch, there is still a chance we'll get it added in a future update. Next up, we have a question about the armor sets in game. So far we've seen a bunch of different armor types and designs in the trailers and other releases, but will we be able to change the color of these armor sets, or are we stuck with the colors they come in? Well, despite some members claiming that yes, armor colors can be changed, Misty put this one to bed by saying you can't change the colors of armor. So I don't really know how I feel about this one. I do like the idea of being able to change our armor, but I don't really want bright pink Helldivers walking around my server. So, I don't know. I think I'll just trust the developer on this one. Okay, so the last three questions we're just gonna rapid fire because the answer to all three is unfortunately we don't know yet. The first one is what will the FPS and resolution be on PlayStation 5? Well, unfortunately, we don't know yet. This is a really common question that I've seen asked a bunch of different times on Discord and on YouTube, but yeah, unfortunately the developer just doesn't have any info on this yet. The next one is, will there be vehicles and mechs that are drivable by players? Well, this is one that I personally really care about because mechs were one of my favorite parts of Helldivers 1. The good news is that we do know that we'll have mountable turrets like this one, which we also had in Helldivers 1. So at least we know that there is one type of mountable weapon in the game, so maybe there's more. And lastly, will there be any other races in the game in addition to the bugs and automatons that we've already seen? Well, unfortunately again, we don't know. My guess is that eventually we will see other races, maybe after launch as a paid DLC or something in the future. But until we get confirmation from the developer, we won't know for sure. And that's it guys, that's all the info I've got for you today in this FAQs video. I really hope that answered all of your questions. If it didn't and you've still not yet watched my other FAQs video, go check that out because your question might get answered in there. And if it's not, make sure you leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer it in any future videos or I'll just answer it directly in the comments. And as always guys, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if not, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.